so we're back here in the hangar. Just got done looking at the 56 Bel Air, and now we are on to the Porsche. So, from what my understanding is a 1978 911
SC.
SC. Is that supercharged?
Super Carrera.
Super Carrera.
Yes.
So what's special about Super Carrera?
So the story goes that in the mid-70s, Porsche was ready for some more dramatic changes, and they were coming out with the 928. And in their mind, it was going to be something that particularly the American market would go for, because the engine's in the right place. It's up front. It's liquid cooled. It looks more like cars of that era, you know, modern cars. And so they said, okay, we'll do one last version of the 911 for the purists, you know, it's like a reward. So they went all out. They widened the stance. They gave some swell here. As we say, she's hippie. You got to edit that out, probably.
Nope.
All right. And they put a 3-liter engine in. The idea was this is our last grand farewell, our love letter to the 911, and then we'll be phasing it out because, you know, the 928 is going to be the new flagship. Well, according to what I read and researched to understand, the 911 SC outsold the 928. So they thought, oh, well, we'll make more of those. And so they did. And then those outsold the 928 and everything else. And so pretty much the way those of us that are Porsche nerds and 911 enthusiasts believe that the SC saved the 911. So this is the first year of its release. I love it.
All right, so what started your, I'm going to say, fascination? What started your fascination with Porsche?
You don't have to be nice, James. It's an obsession.
Okay, what's your obsession with Porsche?
You know, when you start buying their clothing, I mean, geez. Yeah, 1974, 75, I was running around in and out of the house like kids do playing, and there was the movie of the week on, and it stopped me from going back out to play with my friends. I was mesmerized. I'd never seen anything like it. It was Le Mans with Steve McQueen. I'd never heard of Porsche. I'd heard of Ferraris, but no one in my town had one. No one ever spoke of them, and so that began a lifelong love affair that I had. From there, we moved to Road and Track magazines. Every time I found one in the bookstore, Mom, will you get this for me, please? It's got 911 on the front of it, you know. And I found a shirt at the discount store that had the racing stripes on one side and the Porsche crest. And then someone found out in the family that I was into that, and they gave me that. Technically, this is P1, or the first Porsche that I ever owned. Mm-hmm. It's a 930, which is the 911 Turbo that came out in 1975, Hot Wheels version. Used to have typical 70s orange and green stripes on it, but I played with it so much that, you know, over the years. Anyway, coincidentally, it looks kind of like what I ended up with.
Mm-hmm. Now I just need to put a spoiler on yours.
Oh, well, she's fine like that. Yeah, so, you know, all through my grown-up days, I just assumed that I would never be able to afford one. It was an exotic. It was something that, you know, was way up there in a price range that I could never afford. And then when I was with you at Spangdahlem Air Base in Germany, that's where I met my friend Harry, who was a bigger Porsche-phile than I.
He had that red Porsche Cayman. Right?
No.
That was somebody else?
No. Harry was in the comm squadron, and we were hanging out and just talking about all this, and he was spouting off all these facts and figures. He knows more about Porsche than I ever will. But he was like, well, I'm ordering one. Why don't you get you one? I'm like, what do you mean you're ordering from the factory? Are you kidding me? At that time, the Boxster had come out, mm-hmm. and it was like the poor person's version of, mm-hmm. you know, an entry level 2-seat Roadster. It was a mid-engine instead of a rear engine. But actually affordable, like, I mean, about half what you would pay for a new American automobile mm-hmm. right now.
So crazy enough, yes, like you just mentioned, we were both in Germany. He was a chaplain, and that's how I met him. And he had a Porsche Boxster, just like he just said. And I think that's what kind of started my small European love affair for sports cars. because I actually got to ride in one, and I thought it was such a blast to be on the Autobahn doing like 180 miles an hour, because you can never do that in the States because you're going to kill yourself because the roads suck. And
Yeah, the little Boxster and the Cayman also, when it came out, it'll hold 150 miles an hour. Like, that's where it loves. The TAC, which is in Porsche, is the largest instrument on the cluster. The needle's straight up and down when you're going about 150. So everything's just, it's like, this is optimal. This is where you want to be. And everything just, you know, shrinks down onto the road, and the wind forces are all just right, and the horsepower is matching the hills, and the wind up is going, and it's a very emotional effect.
Yeah.
Very exhilarating.
So how many Porsches have you had total besides the Hot Wheels?
So that's a little embarrassing. As we indicated in my story earlier, when my friend Harry talked me into, without really twisting arm too hard, getting P1, that was the little Boxster, that was in 2005. And it was very, very basic. I had no options placed on that car. I was scared to death because I'm buying, you know, a Porsche, for crying out loud, in Germany. So I thought it was going to be, you know, scary astronomicals. That one we destroyed on the Autobahn going to Oktoberfest. They crashed great. It's the story for another time. But basically it was aquaplanage, which, you know, they warned us about a whole lot over there, hydroplaning. That much water on the Autobahn at night, you come around the corner going about 160, you encounter it, and by the time you let off the gas and slow down, you're already turned about 45 degrees, and in the guardrail, spin out about 12 times, and that was the end of P1. But they crashed great. So that insurance check went back, ordered a second Boxster, and that one I tricked out. I made it like cobalt blue, it was really beautiful, and I bought the hard top that you can put on there for winter, which was amazing. It was a great little car. In some ways, I regret that I didn't keep it. It would have been way paid off by now. But what happened was 2007, I think you were with me when we went to the Frankfurt Auto Show.
Yeah.
And they debuted the Cayman.
Yeah.
And for us, it's like, oh, it looks like a 911, which I will never be able to afford. We'll get to the dream later.
Yeah.
So basically, I traded in the Boxster for a Cayman, and that's what I brought with me back to the States. And so that was P3. And then I kept that one until one day when I was stationed in Colorado Springs, and I was driving around in the rain, and I saw this beauty sitting at the dealership at Colorado Springs. Our story together is interesting. She caught my eye. It's the body style that I fell in love with when I was a kid. It's what a Porsche is supposed to look like in my mind. Mm-hmm. And so I ran inside. I'm like, the dealership. Josh was a friend of mine, a salesman there. Josh, what's the story on that little 911 out there? Oh man, that's sad. That's a one-owner car. He lost it in the divorce. She didn't want the car. She just didn't want him to have it. So she immediately put it up for consignment with us. So he's like, it hadn't moved. It's been sitting out there. In fact, the battery's dead. I'm like, strap. So he went out and jump-started it. We drove it in the rain. Didn't crash this time. Learned my lesson about aquaplanage in Germany. And I fell in love immediately. And I asked him what she was trying to get for it. I said, well, throw this number out there. She hangs up on everybody. She doesn't take money for less than what she's asking, but she's had it out there for a while. So I threw it out there. She met my price somewhere in the middle, and I drove away. And I did not go by that dealership that day with an intention to own. But now here's the crazy part. These cars, they made so many of them, the 911 SCs, and 90% of them or more are still out there on the road, drivable, that the market was glutted. And so 2013, I bought this car for like $22,500. And realistically, that's what they're worth. Now, I'm looking in the trades and looking on Bring a Trailer and stuff, and you almost have a heart attack, you know? Mm. And it's sad because a lot of people like me who always dreamed of having an air-cooled, pure 911, this was the affordable one to go to. And now, you know, unless something's bad wrong with them, forget it. Mm. So I'm really glad that I got it when I did. I was just lucky.
So you said air-cooled, but so it doesn't have a radiator?
Nope.
So it has like just a regular fan? What was it?
Here's, the motor's in the right place. Yes, you do slam this door.
So there's how you open up the trunk.
or the bonnet as the
What's
Europeans.
this? My pneumatics work.
What?
Yep, that's Porsche's Boxer 3-liter. It's very similar to the aircraft engines that I have on my 310 over there. So they're horizontally opposed. This is what they made the money on.
Surprisingly, there's actually room to work.
This engine is bulletproof. I have been driving along on the interstate, almost at Audubon in Louisiana, and that belt came off. So it does have a cooling fan, powers by that. If you're driving and you see your temperature start to climb, and this is a very accurate gauge, go rest somewhere and check because your belt probably came off. And sure enough, it got up kind of hot before I went, oh, that's not normal for a hot day even. So we towed it back, put the belt on. I was afraid that I'd messed up my engine, but he's like, nah, as long as you didn't get up to like 220 degrees or something, you didn't melt any metal. So, whoo, they're tough. It's a tough little engine. This one has, I think, 96,000 miles on it.
Okay.
Never been overhauled.
So how much horsepower do you think one of these has?
Oh.
If you had to guess. Wait, does it actually say right there?
It
Maybe.
probably does. These are the original
Maybe not
placards.
anymore. It probably did at one point.
Yeah.
Had all the important stuff. It's all in German, as you can see.
You're
So-
stumping me on that one. I really don't know. The normally aspirated ones back in this time period were not that high of horsepower, but the cars, a lighter.
Yeah, they're so light that that doesn't need a lot of power.
We'll get back to you and look that up.
Google.
Yeah, I should know that. That's embarrassing.
That's all. So we were at what were we at? P4. This is P4.
Yeah, this is P4.
So
Well, then the Air Force sent me to Guam, and I didn't take any of my, the Cayman or this one there. In fact, I sold the Cayman to Mike, our mutual friend from the Spangdahlem days. So I was going to be there maybe 3 years on the island, and this is the first time in my life as a Porsche nerd, as a Porsche file, that I didn't have one to drive to work every day. So after a while, if you own one of these cars, nothing else will do. And so,
it's kind of like me and the Mustang.
kind of like you and
Gotta have
Ford.
Mustang.
Well, yeah, but you're a Ford guy too.
I'm a Ford guy. Yeah, I'm a Ford guy.
So
but
it's the mark, the
I've-
brand.
Like we said before in earlier episodes, I've had 5 total Mustangs.
I went on Craigslist, and there was a guy that had a Carrera 4 for sale for an incredibly low price for an island car, because a lot of cars are, if they're not just mainstream things, then they're expensive. But so the good thing was I had a Porsche that was my daily driver. The bad thing was those were rough years for Porsche in 2000-ish, before they kind of got their quality control back where it needed to be. About 2004, 5, and from there on, it's been incredible. But they were shaving off to save some money and not go bankrupt, and it was difficult times. And so pieces of plastic will fall off in your lap and stuff like that. Anyways, that was P5. That was the 5th Porsche in my life.
What kind was that? What model?
That was a
Porsche?
2000 Porsche Carrera 4. So it's an all-wheel drive 911.
Okay.
Yeah, with a liquid cooled. So it was my first time to drive around with a liquid cooled version of the engine in the back. But, it kept me in the brand, which is very important. Then, in Shreveport, when I got orders to go to Minot, North Dakota, I was not going to take a car that's this high off the ground up there to survive in the Siberian wastelands of North. No, I'm just kidding. In the difficult areas for automobiles that are not all-wheel drive and that are not, higher off the ground. So that's when I got rid of that and got my work Porsche, which is a 2000. I got it used for a really good price. It's a 2016 Macan. The Macan came out in 2014-15, and so I wanted a first-gen, less expensive work car, and that is it. That's a prime example of how, if they made a truck, I would have bought it. This is as close as Porsche gets to making a truck. This car looks terrible compared to the rest that I've shown you today because it's a work car. It survived 3 winters as harsh as 40 below zero. With no block heater, I would go out to the garage, it would crank up daily. When everybody else was pushing their car, trying to get them snow plowed through 3-foot snow drifts in the parking lot to get to the main road, this would be up and over with no difficulties. So it's Porsche tough, which is another reason why I love them. Endurance racing made them tough. And they won't put anything out there for the public to buy that hasn't been demonstrated in the harshest of conditions. And I just love them. That's why. So
Yeah, that's enough about that car. We want to talk about the 911.
that's number 6. We'll talk about that.
So that's number 6. Scissor.
That's P6.
That's P6.
It's a 2016 Macan S. So
Is there going to be a P7 in
God, I
the
hope
future? If there is a P7, what do you want? If money was no object whatsoever, what would be your dream Porsche?
The pre-911 series was called the 356. It was the 4-cylinder, but it's the one that they created from Volkswagen parts, after World War II in the 50s. And I would love to have a 356B or C model. Yep. It's just a 2-seat classic hand-built original Porsche product from when they were sort of getting their legs under them and becoming what we know them to be now. Yes.
How about so that's a classic Porsche. How about, like, if money was no object, a brand new Porsche? Is there anything out there, like maybe a Porsche 911 Turbo S?
Because that's my dream Porsche is a 911 Turbo S.
Which one's yours? You got one, or is that it?
No. I got my dream 911 right here. She makes me very happy. You're going to see just so much fun on the road. I hate driving, which is ironic because, I've had so many cars in my life. And getting around that way will spoil you. So I kind of have a rule, if it's over a 2.5-hour drive and you can't fly, I'm not going. But, and you can ask some of my friends when we go on a road trip, you want to drive, So that's necessary point-to-point transportation in all kinds of environments. That's family, legacy, and heritage. I would get in this with you and drive to California, and I hate driving. That's how fun this car is to me. That's what a pleasure it is and a dream come true, I guess, when you look out over that slope hood, the front trunk, and see the road going by, the way it handles everything, it feels right.
It's the epitome of every sports car should be to aspire to be, basically.
I think. Yeah, there's a lot more horsepower you can get.
Oh yeah.
But it just balances out right, and it'll go over 400 miles on that little tank, which is right there.
And oddly enough, Matilda has actually been in a car show and won its
First one, it was at a air show / car show, and yeah, he got like a best of 10, and I didn't even get nothing in the
Mustang over there. So
Well, maybe they were prejudiced toward 50s, 60s cars.
probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
was
now
in
we're gonna hop in the car, go for a cruise, and get our perspective on it.
Seen them in Germany.
So this car don't have an AC either. What the hell? None of your cars got AC.
The work car does.
Besides that one.
So yeah, apparently in Germany it doesn't get that hot. But except that one summer when I first got there, it got really hot. And
That seat does adjust 2 ways. Ready? Punch it.
so driving this thing, what do you love most about driving this compared to your other Porsches?
it's a realization of that fantasy from when you're a little kid trying to look over the top of a Hot Wheel or a Matchbox to imagine what the road would look like going under you. There's just nothing quite like looking over the hood of a first generation 911 or you know, the earlier versions like this and see the road go by. There's that.
Yeah.
There's the feel, as I indicated when I was swerving back there a little bit for you, that it's just on the rails. It's like a race car with rack and pinion steering or direct, you know, contact with everything.
Yeah, like even just the slightest movement of the steering wheel, you're all over the road.
Yep, like the 56 Chevy, it does not have power steering. However, this is instantaneous.
Yeah, like it is very tight steering.
Lag.
Alright, so Buddy was just talking to me about the clutch pedals in these Porsches. I don't know if you can see it. So the clutch pedal, it actually goes down into the floor. It's not like a lot of your American cars, where the clutch pedal it like goes up into the firewall. But yeah, that goes down into the floor.
For some reason, when you read reviews on this car, a lot of people that maybe they're just used to that other one, they talk about it like it's some obstacle to overcome or something difficult to master. I've never understood that at all. I mean, maybe it's because I've driven everything from Model Ts to the 56 Chevy to John Deere tractors with a hand clutch to this. You just shift. You just mash the clutch down and shift. I don't know why they're so freaked out about the angular direction of the clutch is awkward. I read that. I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know. I'd have to drive it to give my 2 cents on how the clutch pedal feels, because any car with a manual, it's gonna feel different. Like each clutch pedal is different. The clutch pedal in the Bel Air was a very soft feeling clutch.
Yeah,
compared
a lot more aggressive
compared to I'm sure this car or even the many Mustangs that I've owned, they all felt like they had a pretty stiff clutch.
I love that. Pops out to neutral and so easy. All right, well, let's pull over here and give you a shot.
All right, so we're gonna pull over and I'm gonna see what I think about the 911.
So, you'll get used to the clutch, but she resists second. Just be gentle and hold it there, and she'll let you know when she wants to.
Like that.
The master. All the way off, all the way on.
I haven't driven a manual in a long time, and every clutch pedal is different. So the feeling is knowing where the sweet spot is at. Yeah. So.
And this one, as we have previously mentioned, is so challenging for some people.
Yeah.
So.
It's not a challenge. Well, at least it's not a challenge for me, but it's just different of how the clutch feels, of knowing where the sweet spot is. Like that.
All right. So it's got some interesting gauges that are uniquely German also. We can look at those when we park here in a minute, but if you'll notice, it's this is like an electronic dipstick. It's supposed to show oil level, and it's kind of all over the place. Then you got your temp gauge, which is normal, and it works. Because like I said, when I threw that belt that one time, that's what warned me we were getting into trouble territory. And it's got Druck pressure, which, as best I've been able to understand it, it's kind of like a manifold pressure gauge that we have on the aircraft that shows, you know, cylinder pressure. And then of course the TAC is the largest instrument in the cluster, typically Porsche racing breed. The starter's where it's supposed to be, on the left. And the clock actually works. What's your impression?
It's
different. Kind of going back to what you were saying about why people say like all the angular position of the clutch pedal like really throws people off. It threw me off, but once you get going, like, and you get out of first gear and going into the other gears, like it's just like any other manual transmission. But yeah, for me starting, what, we stalled it 3-4 times now. I stalled it 3 to 4 times.
I remember my first clutch.
But yeah, just the clutch feel itself, it's different.
It just seems natural to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But so
Congratulations.
yeah. So does that mean I'm checked out on a 911 SC?
No,
No? Okay.
not until you can take off 3 times in a row without stalling it.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so hilarious moments coming in the gate in Germany in a Porsche, and they randomly select you, as you know, for vehicle search. That's at every Air Force base, probably every DOD base.
Yep,
I don't
yep,
know.
yep.
So,
I remember
sir,
that.
pull over here, please. You know, you're the lucky number for today. And these are my cops. I was their chaplain, so I'm joking around and stuff. So they get out there, like, open up the front and the back for me. So I very obediently open up. And I had a cop actually say this to me, security forces, he's like, "Sir, the engine." And I went, "Oh my God, someone stole it." Anyway. Yeah, all classic Porsches, you know, the motor is in the middle or the back. And,
Unless you have the Macan there or the Cayenne.
yes, true, that.
Or the
Panamera.
Yeah, Panamera.
Also, they're all awesome automobiles, by the way. I just picked that one because it was the smallest SUV and I didn't need all that large capacity of the Cayenne. But you can actually put a lot of stuff in here if you pack it properly. Like groceries, don't think of them as stacking them, think of them as lying them down diagonally.
Yeah.
And they don't roll around as bad when they're on top of one another, sort of like that. It works out great. Also, I'm happy my pneumatic works here as well.
Yeah.
Holds it up. Used to have a stick before we fixed that, but.
So is there anything else that you would like the viewers to know about this particular Porsche or even Matilda that we didn't cover?
No.
No? Okay.
There's a lot of talking about these cars that I normally don't ever do, but
Well, I guess in that case.
thank you for coming all the way over here to video our herd, I guess, fleet.
All right.
All right, well, that will do it for today's shenanigans, our car reviews. I want to give a special thanks to my good friend Buddy here to letting us come out here and seeing the 56 Bel Air and the 1978 911 Porsche SC.
What's that Mustang doing in the middle there?
Yeah, I mean, you can't have cruising in cars without the Sting. I mean, it's got to be somewhere in the show. But anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed today's content, and it was definitely quite the experience to gather so much knowledge about cars I don't really know a whole lot about because I'm a Ford guy. But as always,
And to challenge the owners to do the same thing when they can't remember some of it off the top of their head.
yeah. But yeah, driving the 911, it's different. The way the clutch pedal goes into the floor as opposed to the American cars.
You'd get used to it.
Yeah, so I think if I were to drive it more, I'd get used to it. But anyways, hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. And if you please do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe. And always drop a comment, but anything else to say?
Blessings in blue skies, y'all.
Peace out, guys.